You're looking here at a picture of Jimmy Shea. Jimmy Shea won the gold medal in the 2002 Winter Olympics in the men's skeleton event. Now, skeleton is an example of an extreme sport, and it was reintroduced into the Olympics in 2002. If you've never seen it before, let me describe it for you this way. It takes place on the same kind of track as toboggan or luge, and you could say that skeleton is like extreme luge, as if that weren't extreme enough to begin with. It takes place on the same kind of track. The difference is, as you can kind of see here from this picture, is that first of all, the skeleton board is a little thing. It's like the size of a roasting pan. And they lie down on this thing on their stomachs, and they go head first down the mountain with the chin about 6 inches off of the ice as they're screaming down the mountain at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. So you can imagine what happens when you wipe out, right? I mean, this is why it's called an extreme sport. These people are extremely nuts. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to take up skeleton in order to understand what we're going to talk about today and what this whole series is going to be about. You don't have to do that, but imagine for a moment that you wanted to, okay? You saw it on TV, you thought it looked pretty cool, so you figure you're going to give it a try for yourself, so you go out to get your equipment together, get yourself a roasting pan, steal your kid's bicycle helmet, and then the day finally arrives where you're ready to take on the mountain. So imagine the scene. You got your board in your hand, you're approaching the track and you're checking it out from down below, and from down here you're saying to yourself, this is going to be awesome, right? Because the angle looks manageable and you're stoked about this. And then you take the lift up to the top of the mountain, and for the first time, with board in your hand, you step up to the edge of the track, and for the first time you look down. What's the angle like from up here? There isn't one. There's no angle from up here. It's a straight drop into the abyss, right? So now you're having second thoughts. Now your hands are starting to shake on the board. Sweat's breaking onto your forehead. You're having trouble catching your breath. Heart's beating in your chest, but everybody's looking at you. You can't walk back down the mountain, so you give yourself a little pep talk, right? You say, all right, I'm just going to try it out. I'll just try it out for a couple minutes to see how it goes. So you get yourself into position. You're teetering on the edge, and finally you take a deep breath and you push off, and before you know it, bang, you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you suddenly realize that you are now 100% committed to this idea, right? There is no turning back now, and typically, at that point in the process, there are two words that come to mind. What are they? Oh shit, right? Those are the words. Now here's the point. M stands for moment. So the OSM, the oh shit moment, is the natural built-in indicator that we have as human beings that we're doing or about to do something that has extraordinary potential to it. It's a natural part of the human experience. And you know this from your own experience. Just reflect back over the course of your life for a moment. Any time that you've taken on an endeavor that even if you were really passionate about it, even if you really believed in it, but this endeavor was a little bit beyond perhaps what you'd done before, as much as you believed in it, tell me there was no OSM there. For many of you, watching this series, you've started a company, or you've been involved in the startup of a company. You are a startup, many of you. Tell me that's not an OSM day after day. It's a natural part of the human experience. What I'm suggesting is that that is a good thing. It's a good thing. And it is most significantly true, and most importantly true, in the act of leadership. So our series, our exploration over the next several months, year or so, that we're going to have together, you and I, is really looking into the nature of this leadership experience. And it's very easy to use the word leader in reference to ourselves, but without the OSM, if we're not experiencing the OSM with some frequency in the context of what we're doing every day, we could call ourselves leader all day long. It's not going to make any difference, because there's no such thing as leadership without that frequent experience of the OSM. And this is a bit counterintuitive for a lot of people. We're conditioned to believe, we're conditioned to interpret the OSM as a sign that something is wrong. And what makes this tricky is that oftentimes the OSM is a sign that something is wrong. But what I'm also suggesting is that in the right context, it can actually be a sign that something is right. You know, Jimmy Shea was interviewed the day after he won the gold medal. And the question that he was asked was, do you remember the first time you ever tried the skeleton thing? And his answer was such a beautiful description of the OSM. Here's what he said. He said, oh yeah, I remember, first time I went down that run, I was going way too fast, and I realized I just made the biggest mistake of my life. And what I find really interesting about that is the language that he uses. I'm fascinated with language anyway, but think of the word choice here. First of all, he said, mistake. Well, it wasn't a mistake. He's a gold medalist. So obviously, this endeavor was not a mistake. Did he ever make mistakes? Oh yeah. Did he ever crash and burn? Oh yes, in some pretty glorious ways, I'm sure. But it was not a mistake. He's a gold medalist now. And he says, I realized I'd made a mistake, which is the same thing as saying the reality was this was a mistake. In other words, what his brain was telling him in that moment was, this is bad, right? That's what he was thinking to himself. He wasn't thinking, oh, what an exhilarating experience. I'm so glad I came out to the mountain today. I shall be a gold medalist one day. He was thinking, I'm a moron. That's what he was thinking. And what I'm suggesting is, it's the same thing for us. If we're really taking on the challenges that could make a huge difference for us and the people around us, the OSM will be there. The OSM will stand as proof. So, again, the OSM is a natural part of the leadership experience. Therefore, what we should be doing is pursuing the OSM with conscious intent. So if there's something that you want to accomplish in your company, whether you're the CEO or you're working on the front line with customers, you look around the company, you look around your business, you look at the relationship that you have with one another and the relationship you have with your clients, and you find yourself saying to yourself, I have an idea that can make this better. When you get to that point and you ask yourself, what can I do about this? And there's an answer, but you don't do it. And if you ask yourself honestly, why haven't I done this? I mean, it's a great idea. I've done my research. I've talked to the right people. I think this idea can really change things around here, but I haven't done it. And if you ask yourself, why haven't I done it? And the only answer that you can come up with is because I'm scared to, then that's the reason to do it. Another way to say it, if the only reason you can think of to not do something significant is because the idea scares you, then that's the reason to do it. That's the pursuit of the OSM, and that's what holds a lot of us back. Again, we're conditioned to try to avoid this kind of a thing. Now, I want to appeal to your common sense here. I'm not talking about taking stupid risks for the sake of creating OSM. There's not some kind of an OSM quota to fill here. It's the things that can potentially make a difference, but we don't do them because we're scared to. Those are the things that we need to pursue, and we need to be, frankly, bold about it. So I'd like you to think about it this way. The OSM, again, is the natural built-in indicator that we have that we're doing something significant in the act of leadership. Now, our exploration over the next several videos is going to be about the operating system or the framework, pick whatever metaphor works for you, for what the extreme leader, the real leader, the person in pursuit of the OSM, what they do. And very simply, just to give you some food for thought for what's coming next, the extreme leader takes what I've come to call a radical leap day in and day out. This is the way that we create these OSMs, by cultivating love, generating energy, inspiring audacity, and proving ourselves every day. So love, energy, audacity, and proof, that'll be our agenda for our next several sessions together. And between now and the next time we see each other, let me give you something to think about and something to try. I'm going to ask you to ask yourself this question. What can I do right now in this company, regardless of what anybody else is or is not doing, to change my piece of this company for the better? What can I do right now, regardless of what anybody else is or is not doing, to change my piece of this company for the better? And that's, again, not just a question for the CEO. It's as much a question for you if you're on the front line working with clients every day. Answer that question, and as you think about taking action on it, if you find that familiar OSM feelings starting to churn in your gut, even at the very thought of taking action on your answer to that question, there's your opportunity to pursue the OSM. So go out, give it a try, and we'll check in with you next time.